Greetings, first grade scientists and engineers. Hi. You see my reflection in the computer screen again? Happy Holy Wednesday. And today, our goal in science is to finish up our exploration of light. And in particular, we're going to describe in detail now the process through which we see objects, or the process through which light allows us to see objects. So in order to do this, you'll need your packet that we've been working on the last few days. And then later on, you'll need to print off one of the science rubrics that we've been using all year to check our work. So on last Friday, we did page 1 of the packet, and yesterday we did page 2, and so our goal today is to do the last page. And in my packet, I'm not sure if yours is this way or not, but in my packet, the question for page 3 is actually at the bottom of page 2. So we just go with the flow and on with the show. So the challenge on page 3, or beginning at the bottom of page 2, is to draw a picture below showing how we usually see things. Okay? So we're going to draw that picture in the blank space at the top of page 3. So please follow along, just like we have done when we were drawing the sound process, and even like we did on page 1 where we drew the shadow process. We're going to draw a picture, and we're going to start in the upper left. And so the light process always starts with a light source. And what is the biggest light source on Earth? You know it. Say it loud. That's right, it is the sun. So in the upper left-hand corner, going to make a sun. It's really a composite shape, circle, with some rays, right? And we always label our pictures in science. So sun, there you go. And then the second step is the sun produces or emits light energy, and it's in the form of light rays. All right, so now before we go any further, let's think. What are some things that we would like to see? What do we want to say that we're seeing? Because the purpose of this picture is to show how we see things. So in this picture, what's the thing we'd like to see? I got an idea. Let's say that we want to see an Easter egg. So let's draw a nice big, it's kind of like an oval down here on the ground. And let's label Easter egg. So Easter, capital E, it's the name of a holiday, so capital E, A-S-T-E-R, and then egg. Egg is E-G-G. All right. So the sun is 8 light seconds away, and it is sending light rays down to Earth where there's an Easter egg. So we need to draw the light rays. And remember that we said that our symbol for light rays is just going to be a wavy line. So maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 wavy lines. I'm going to draw 3. Then I'm going to label it light, L-I-G-H-T, waves, A, something has to make that A say its name. Yep, there's an E there. Light waves. All right, so we know that the sun makes light waves. They go down to the Earth, and some of them hit on the Easter egg. They hit the Easter egg. And then we learned that when light waves hit an object, they reflect off of them. So we're going to have some of them reflect off in this direction. So let's make a couple light waves. They hit the egg and then they bounce off in all different directions. Some of them go over there, some of them go over there. But what we're trying to do is show how do they get to our eyes where we see them. So we have some of the light waves reflect. That's where they bounce off and go in another direction off of the Easter egg. So we're going to write the word reflect to show that that's why the light waves are now changing direction. So please write the word reflect. And they reflect and they go into our eyes. So we're going to draw a human being. You can draw a stick figure if you want. Okay. But this is going to be the side of the head. And we're going to put the eyes here, and there's the mouth. Okay. There's some eyebrows. So there's the eyes. So label it eyes. E-Y-E-S. So the light waves reflect off the Easter egg and bounce up to our eyes. And when they go into our eyes, just like when the sound waves go into our ears, the next thing is then they go to our nerves and to our brain. Well, remember, nerves are like little electrical wires in our body that connect the different parts of our body and send messages around our body. There are nerves that connect our eyes to our brain. So for the nerves, you can just draw one line, and then in the middle of our head is our brain. So we need to label these parts. So there's the nerves, and same way we spelled it when we were talking about sound. N-E-R-V-E-S, and then the brain. B-R-A-I-N. A-I, right in the middle of the brain. All right, so that is the picture of how we see things. How we see the Easter egg is that the sun sends light waves. The fastest things in the whole world take some 8 seconds to get from the sun to the earth. Some of those light waves bounce off the Easter egg. They reflect, and then they go up to our eyes. And from our eyes, they go through our nerves to the brain. And then our brain tells us, oh, that's an Easter egg, and it's beautiful colors. And I'm really hungry. I'd like to eat it. That's what your brain does. It's like the central computer. So now we need to write a sentence explaining this process. So what happens first? The sun makes light waves. So on your paper, you're going to write the, with a capital T, the sun. You've got it right on your label, so you just copy the sun. And what does the sun do? It makes, or it sends light waves. So you could say the sun sends light waves. By the way, sound out the words if you don't know how to spell them, like sends or makes. Use the letter sounds that would make sense. So, sends light waves, so the sun sends light waves. And what do these light waves do? They reflect off the Easter egg. So which reflect off the Easter eggs And then where do they go? To our eyes and our nerves and our brain. So we could say, and go to our eyes, comma, nerves, comma, and if you need more room, you can write down here, and brain. What do I need at the end of my sentence before I run out of breath? Period. Yes, period. So make sure you have a capital letter, capital T for the, and your sentence should say something like, the sun sends light waves which reflect off the Easter egg and go to your eyes, comma, nerves, comma, and brain, period. All right, so please take your time and write your sentence neatly and carefully. And if you need to hit pause on this video while you're doing that, you can. But when you're done, I'm going to ask you to, if you can, to print off a copy of the scoring sheet, the science rubric that we always use to check our work. And if you can't print it off, then you can at least hopefully pull it up on the computer screen. I will have it in your lesson plan right here towards the bottom of the science part of your lesson plan where it says science rubric. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. I need to do a better job. Oh, that was interesting. Sorry about that. So on the lesson plan, that's where I'm going to put the link to today's lesson for this video. It's going to go right there, and then underneath it'll say science rubric. That's where you print that off, print off this rubric. And then you're going to use this to check all 3 pages of your packet. So first it says, followed all directions. That means, did I answer every question and do what every question said? So go back to the first page, read the questions, make sure you have good answers. Now, on the second page, I didn't write the answers, but I guided you through them. So you should have answers to all your questions on the second page, and then I just guided you through the picture and the sentence on the third page. So if you did all those directions, then click or put a plus in yes. If not, then put a minus in no. That'll be something you can go back and fix. Are my answers correct? So go back, read all of your answers. Make sure that they make sense. Okay? If you think your answers make sense, then give yourself a plus. If you're not sure, go back and watch the videos from Friday or Monday, because if you were paying attention, I pretty much walked you through all the answers. So go back and watch the videos to make sure your answers are correct. So hopefully you'll get a plus there. Add up your pluses. If you have 2 pluses, 2 in the yes column, then you're going to have at least an S as a score. Right? Now, if you just get 1 yes, then you're going to have a P, means making progress, means it's not terrible, but it's also not as good as you can do. Now, to get an O, meaning an outstanding grade, you want to both have followed all the directions and have correct answers, but then you want to make sure, is your work neat? So that means, could another first grader, or could a mom or dad or me, could I look at your paper and read your writing and understand your labels and understand your answers? Were you careful? If so, then you should get a yes for neatness. Pictures labeled. There's two pictures, right? One on page 1, one on page 3. Are they labeled? Yes. Capitals. Do you have capitals in the right place? Well, I'm thinking the main place you needed capitals would be, there was a sentence answer here. If you made a sentence here, you need a capital. There was a sentence here. So everywhere that you had to write a sentence, and there was a sentence on the third page, everywhere you had to write a sentence, you should have a capital letter at the beginning. Also, everywhere you had to write a sentence, you should have an end mark. So make sure you have end marks in the right place. And then, are your sentences complete ideas with naming parts and action parts, and do they make sense? If so, you should get a plus there. Now, if you find that you are missing one of these things, maybe it's not neat, or your picture's not labeled, capitals or end marks are missing, or you don't have a complete idea, does that mean you can't get an O for outstanding? No. Go back and fix it. That's the big idea of this paper. It's to help you find your mistakes. We all make mistakes, so now we want to find them and fix them. That's what great scientists, engineers, and leaders do. All right, thank you for your time. I want to wish you a very blessed and peaceful and relaxing Easter and spring break. You deserve it. When we come back after spring break, we're going to start looking at the sun and the moon and the planets and the stars. And we'll be exploring those topics until we get back to school. And then when we get back to school, we'll come back and use what you've learned about light and sound to work on making an invention to help Milo and Angelina and Susie communicate from their place in the woods where they're lost. So, I look forward to exploring the sun and the moon and stars and the planets with you when we come back to school after Easter break. Take care. I'm thinking about you. I miss you. Bye.